Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club, your number one stop for stellar reviews of volumes, arcs, or stories that us or yourselves choose. You can find us live every Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and the replay on all podcast networks. Take a seat, get yourselves and your opinions ready, as it's time to join the herd. But first, please put your hands together for your hosts, Shane, Phil, Scott, and Martin, as they kick off this week's discussion. Hello everyone, welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. Our intro kind of lied to you a little bit, because if you're watching live now, you're only just going to see me and my good friend Martin.
Hello.
Shane and Phil aren't here today. I heard they met up and decided to take a trip together, and they are away and just having a good time. They've walked into the sunset. They're dangling their feet in the ocean and just having a talk and just getting really into each other, into each other's minds and souls. There we go. I hope they're having a nice time. But yeah, there we go. So it's just me and Martin today, but it's okay that it's just me and Martin today, because we're very big fans of what we're talking about today, and that is Flashpoint. Massive DC event which kicked off the New 52 run, and personally, it was the first proper event including tie-ins that I read. So it's got a bit of a nice little place in my heart. Let's see who's here first of all. I know you're there, guys. Get in the chat. I want to see you say hi. First of all, we got Steve. He said, "Evening, lads. Thank you, mate, for joining. Hope you're doing well." He put a really cool post on his Instagram the other day of the Absolute Edition of Flashpoint.
Oh,
mate,
yeah.
It's nice. It's nice. I don't have the Absolute Edition. I don't have the 10th Anniversary Omnibus. All I have is the Flashpoint slipcase.
But that's still nice. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I was tempted to get that myself.
Yeah, it's good. It's really hard to come by now. So if you want it, I'll sell it to you for the low price of like £200. Deal?
I've got the 10th Anniversary Omnibus. I know I'm going to get suckered into getting that Absolute Edition as well, because it's just my Flash collection just feels empty without that Absolute.
Yeah, I need the Omnibus. I want it. Andy is here. Shane and Phil clearly needed some time away to settle their do a powerbomb scrap last week. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Am I right? Like, for anyone who's watching today and didn't see that last week, go ahead and watch that, because, yeah, it got a bit scrappy, but it's fine. Sean Hogan's here, brand new viewer. I think he said, "Hi, Triple G sent me over. Just subbed. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoy this. Let us know your thoughts on the show. Hopefully everyone in the chat can let you know how we work when it comes to scoring the books and stuff." Lee's here. Howdy ho. Sorry I'm a bit late. That's fine. I'm glad you're here. And Steve again is saying the Absolute is worth it just for the art. Brilliant.
He's doing that to me. You know what you're doing, Steve.
He knows. Right, let me finish off my introduction. Okay, Flashpoint, we're covering just issues 1 to 5 today. We're not covering the other 56 tie-in issues, otherwise we would have been here a while. The book's written by Geoff Johns. Art is done by Andy Kubert. Inkers, we had Sandra Hope and Jesse Delpagang. Colors, Alex Sinclair. And letters, Nick J. Napolitano. Nearly got it perfect. Just slipped up there. Napolitano.
You've been practicing that.
I have. I remember right today. I had the book and I was like, okay, where's the credits in it? I'm just reading it there. I'm going Napolitano.
You even got the accent on it as well.
Napolitano. Yeah. You got to do the hands as well. Okay. Do we want a synopsis? Do we want to know what this book's about?
Yeah, go for it.
Find out. Okay, I'm reading it from the back. I'm not making it up myself. Barry Allen is a hero. He protects the innocent and battles evil as the Flash, the world's fastest man. The world's fastest man. But this is not the world he knew. This is a world where Wonder Woman and Aquaman have plunged millions into the darkness of war, where no human has ever wielded the Green Lantern's light, where Batman has as much blood on his hands as his enemies do, where no one has ever heard of Superman. Where the fastest man alive is just another man. Powerless and alone, Barry Allen remembers reality as it once was. Now he must convince its strange, dangerous heroes, warped versions of the men and women he once fought alongside, to rally to his cause and set the world to rights. It will take time, but time is the one thing he doesn't have, because whether he succeeds or fails, the world will never be the same. Dun dun dun. That's one of those ones you literally just have to go dun 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 after the end. Yeah,
Such a good synopsis.
I know. It is good, but it's also bad in a way, and we'll get into that in a sec. But right, let me decide. Who do I choose from to help kick us off? Martin, do you wanna tell us what you think initially?
Yeah, I love this. I have read this before, and I didn't quite remember everything from before, but obviously rereading it just brings it all back in a flash. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But this was just a great story. It reminds me of why I enjoy Barry Allen as a character. It reminds me that he does make mistakes, and I think this is something that helps ground him as a character for me. Enough. I love the twist on all the characters, which we will go into. I love all these twisted characters. I love the way this story was formed, and to kick off DC's new 52, this was such a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
So for me, I really enjoy it.
It was definitely interesting, but like just for everyone who maybe has read this but didn't know how we get to this point, Barry Allen, he canonically in the comics he died when Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. So we've had decades of not having Barry Allen. Then Geoff Johns decides to write Flash Rebirth, not to be mistaken for the Rebirth run of the Flash. So we have Flash Rebirth, and then that happens, and then we have a few trades where it's like, or a few stories, whatever, the Road to Flashpoint, where that happens. So it's about 2 or 3 trades if you're looking at that, and then we kick right into Flashpoint. So we have about a year's worth of books, maybe a year and a half or 2, of Barry Allen. And then he's become this massively pivotal character to completely change the DC universe. And I just think that was interesting and cool, and a really good nod to like he's not even the original Flash. I'm gonna end up going too much into this.
No, do it. Go for it.
He's the most popular Flash because Jay Garrick, he's the original Flash. But Barry Allen, he's like, for me, like you, I've enjoyed him the most. He's my favorite Flash, not because like a lot of people say Wally's the best because Wally's the fastest. Yeah, great. I agree with that. He is the fastest. He is, the better speedster, whatever. But I just really enjoy Barry's hope and his personality and his like never-ending, unwavering thing to never see the bad in people and always see the good in everything. And resonates with me a lot. So that's why he's a massive character in my life. And anyway, I'm really happy that he was the reason that it kicked off the new 52.
And again, you just going off the back of what you said then, this whole story of Flashpoint, it really does touch upon some of the things that I really like about him. I love his backstory. I like the fact that I don't like it, but I like the way he's grounded, that his mum had obviously been killed, and that his dad was in prison for the death of his mum, wrongly accused. It's a great foundation for a hero that he sort of dedicated his life to being a forensic on the forensics for the police.
Yeah,
you can see he dedicated his life to try and get his father off the wrongly accused murder. And it's that foundation, that will of Barry to then be given powers and then given the option to change what the wrong, and then it just spiral off into a complete mess. It's just something that just resonates with, like, same with you, resonates with me, grounds him as a character, and this is why Barry's he's my favorite Flash.
Yeah, No, he's really good. So let's get into the Flashpoint, the 5 issues. This was my first time reading it, not involving the tie-ins. So the actual Flashpoint book, the actual Flashpoint story comes in nearly like halfway through the tie-ins, because you've got all of the, they're called the Flashpoint featuring, or like, the world of Flashpoint featuring, and then you've got Wonder Woman, you've got Batman, you have there is another Flash one, Superman.
The Resistance.
They're involved. So I've got them here. We have featuring Wonder Woman, Batman, the Flash, Superman, and Green Lantern. So those that's it. Those are all the stories. There are some other ones, like if you are loving the Flashpoint universe, there are other things you can go and read, which we'll talk about later as well. But yeah, so reading just these 5 issues was weird.
Yes,
because
totally
it's like,
agree.
Read a bunch, then read issue 1, then read a couple more, then read issue 2, then it keeps doing that. You never go in consecutively, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, whatever. So knowing what I know and knowing what I've read, it's jarring, and I can understand. I've spoken to some people already, and they've said there's context needed. Not things aren't explained, things are just brushed past, things like that. So I think Geoff Johns does a decent job at just slightly hinting at things, slightly clearing things up. But I can also respect that people might find this a bit confusing and a bit jumpy.
Yeah, totally. I'm totally with you on that one, because I think usually with an event book, some people say the tie-ins don't really have much to it. The tie-ins, are just throwaways. To be fair, I think with this whole Flashpoint world, the tie-ins, I wouldn't say they're crucial, but they do add a lot of substance to this world that I really like, because now I've read it, I remember all these other little things, things with the Resistance, things finding out more about Superman, things
Lois
about
Lane.
Lois Lane,
Yeah.
and see, the Resistance is Grifter, isn't it? There's more to do with Grifter. So
it's quite a lot.
It's just all these little, and they haven't explained much about the war, the Atlantis and the Themysciran War. They haven't touched upon too much of that.
And that's such a massive thing as well. Before we go on talking about that, everyone in the chat, if you've read along, let us know how you've read it. Okay, have you just read the Flashpoint 1 to 5, or have you read the whole thing? And let us know, if you've read it, how did that affect your understanding of the Flashpoint trade? And if you haven't read everything around it, how do you feel about just reading those 5? Okay, let us know. So yeah,
also,
go on.
Sorry. Also, I'd like to know: is there anyone that has watched the animated movie, Justice League Flashpoint Paradox? Because that does touch upon a lot of stuff, but also adds a bit that's not in this 5-issue arc. So, yeah, with saying what Scott said, if you've got any sort of input from different mediums that you've read it, or have you read more or less, let us know.
Let us know. Okay, we'll pause it there. We'll talk about the art. Okay.
Oh,
Andy Kubert, what a guy!
Beautiful art, absolutely beautiful.
Consistently great.
Definitely.
Yeah. And who did I say did the colors? Who did I say? Oh, Alex Sinclair. Very good with the colors. A lot of it is in the night because it's all Batman related. We're in the Batcave. There's a lot of very moody, but then when we have some dark scenes with a lot of color, everything pops. Thought it was brilliant. Yes. Doing like panel placement, I think that was really good as well, because there's a lot of thick black borders around the pages, which you may be thinking, oh, there's a lot of real estate just missing, not being used, not being utilized. You could fit a lot more, but I think it really added a bit of oomph, a bit of kick when you did have a full page splash screen, or when you see the page where Captain Thunder, this world's Shazam, that whole panel, it's half the page, but it's the whole page. There's no margin. So it makes those really impactful moments stand
The
out a
word out
bit
of my
more.
mouth. Yeah, you
Yeah.
took the words out of my mouth with that one.
Sorry. Yeah.
The panel placement was really good with this. I didn't feel. I felt sometimes when the sort of, let's just say that the picture was drawn out where everything was at a distance, I think some of the artwork was lost a little bit.
Mm.
But where it stayed consistently at one place or closer, artwork was just phenomenal. There wasn't like missed details at all. I'm just flicking through like as we're talking. It's like, even down to close-ups of Barry's mum, you can just see all the detailed wrinkles and stuff like that. There's not anything that Andy's sort of missed off. And his 2-page spreads are just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Every single one of them are really, really good.
Really great. Let's go through some of the comments quick, and then we'll talk some more about the pictures. So Phil is here. He's in the chat. He says, I get the feeling that Lois Lane and the Resistance played a bigger role in the overall story. Phil's only read the 1 to 5. He hasn't read the tie-ins. So we kind of got that vibe that they are only, there is more to those characters, and there is.
Yeah.
Steve has said he's only read the first 5 issues, never read any of the tie-ins. GP Venom's here. Hey, thanks for joining. He says it definitely lacked context. So just the 5 issues. They hint and point to so many things. I don't know if that's like a marketing ploy where they go in, if we hint to all these things, then they'll just go and buy the trade just to fill it in, to fill in the gaps in their minds.
I'd like to think that, but they don't drop any hints that, they don't say to you to find out more, check out.
There's no editor bits.
Yeah, there's no little drops there to say, go and purchase this book.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame.
It is a shame. Andy is saying, couldn't reread it this week, but only ever read the main trade. I have watched the animated movie as well. One of the better ones. Yeah, it's a great movie. Really good movie. It's probably one of the only DC ones I've watched, to be fair. Because I'm such a big fan of this. And I was like, yeah, I'll see how the film stands up. Triple G's here. Hey, buddy. He says, hi, all. Read this back in 2011. Loved it. Read it a few months back.
Oh. It's on a higher then.
So 12-year difference can do a lot. I think it really suffers from not having the tie-ins. The actual book in absolute form feels like it's not a complete story. I think that's what we're all getting there. And 2 more. Highland G. I read this as 1 to 5 first few times, and then in the John's Omni 3 recently. I think he prefers it with some tie-ins, but he personally didn't really like the tie-ins themselves, much outside of the Batman bit.
If you're not sort of into this sort of universe set, there's a lot of people that when I check reviews out back in the day, most people are saying if you're going to read any of the tie-ins, just read the Batman one. Because someone was saying, don't worry about picking up the omnibus. You could pick up the Brian Azzarello Batman book, and it's in there, so you can use the Absolute and the Brian Azzarello Deluxe. But for me, as a Flash fan, I just feel as if this is a Flash story. I want everything in it.
Yep.
So for me, those tie-ins are crucial to building this world.
Like you were saying earlier, for this story, the tie-ins are crucial. I remember when King in Black was coming out. I never read any of that, but Phil was a huge fan. And I remember him being very mad at the fact that he bought an issue of Namor, and it was a King in Black tie-in, and it had nothing to do with King in Black. He was fuming. He was mad, really upset about it. I've just spent, £3-4, whatever it was, in the single issue. Because I want to get all of the, the juicy bits, everything related to this event, and there's nothing.
See, for me, a tie-in should be, if I want more from this event, if I'm enjoying the event, I should want the tie-in. If you go and buy the tie-ins and they're rubbish, for me, that will put you off the event.
Yeah, I
personally.
I agree. Totally. Final one, Liam says, I've only read this book, but it's motivated me to read the complete story. that's a very positive spin on a way to say there's definitely stuff missing and I should go and read the rest. But no,
More surprised it was positive from Lee as well.
I know.
Yeah.
Because it's not Phil's pick. That's that's all. Okay, so we talked about the art. We loved it. Right now, let's show you why we loved it. We've got our pick. So we've got a pick from Phil as well, and a pick from Shane, and we've a few of you have sent them in as well. So we'll show them off, and we've got some variant covers as well if we need to show them as well. Martin, we'll go with you first.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is it there? You got it?
There it is. There it is. The reason I picked this page is because after Barry having the sort of makeshift experiment to recreate the event that turned him into the Flash, to see him back in the suit, having that full page spread, little caption, that's better,
Yeah.
and he's obviously turned the reverse Flash suit into his own.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he vibrate it? He vibrates it, doesn't he?
He said he could have. He could have vibrated it, but then he says, but there's enough material and chemicals in here, in this cave, for me to go and make my own one from scratch.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
So
he did.
He went and
I'm getting confused with the animated movie now, and that's the problem.
Come on.
No, yeah, you're right. He did. Then to see him back in the full bred Scarlet Speedster, ready to go. Great page.
I was going to pick this as like a little bonus page, apart from my page, but I'm glad you picked it because I wanted to talk about it anyway. I'm really glad that they made the artistic decision to like not give the Flash like a new suit for this event, like an updated suit. Like there's so much. Well, everything is new in this story. Everyone's changed. Everyone's got costume updates. Everyone's got, we've even got new characters, stuff like that. So it's really nice that they decided to just have normal Barry Allen Flash, no new costume. Give us something familiar and like comfortable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just we have this kind of, beacon in the darkness. It's our little safety blanket through this story, and we just have a classic, red and yellow suit. No flashy, shiny extra bits pointing out anywhere. Just the classic suit.
I think the only thing they've done to level this up a little bit without steering too far away is the fact that on his forearms and his waist, his lightning bolts are lifted off the suit.
Yeah.
I love the fact that is just emphasized off the suit, and it generating the speed force around him, connecting to the Flash logo in his chest. It just shows power for me.
Yeah, it's great. He's very confident, isn't he, in that stance? Right. I'm going to show Phil's page because I have to talk about yours. I've got to find Phil's writing, then I got to talk about mine, then I got to find Shane's writing. So we'll do it that way. First of all, though, Phil's opinion on the art. He says, the art throughout was really cool. One of those books where the art is better than the story. We know where he's going. I was a fan, especially, and he'll predict this, of the rainy and atmospheric pages. Of course he likes those pages.
It's not a purple one, is it?
No. But here is Phil's page. This is where Barry Allen's sitting in the chair, covered in the chemicals, in a bid to regain his powers from a lightning storm. And for anyone listening on the podcast, it's the page where the kind of rod is extending from the chair and it's kind of folding out, and it's like become a lightning rod ready to receive electricity. So he says, as you can tell by my page pick, you got the rain, you got the lightning, you've got Barry Allen looking all motivated to go through this pain as he believes it'll work and be worth it in the end. Thomas Wayne just looking on, dripping wet with his glowing red eyes. It's just very cool and very tense. Can't fault the art at all, really. It had good detail, the faces were cool, it looked clean, and did a good job of telling the story.
That's positive.
Yeah, the art is positive. I've read the rest. But we'll go through that a bit. But yeah, this is a really cool page, very moody, and it's definitely like you can, for me, it was like kind of, you got some like epic music going on in the background. Is that kind of vibe, you know? It's like,
See,
yeah, we get into something.
I love the design of Flashpoint Batman, and for me, this particular page emphasizes one of the things I really like about it. It gives me Spawn vibes. I'm a big Spawn fan. I love
Okay.
the look of how he looks like, Spawn in the dark with the points on the cape, the glowing eyes from the dark. It's brilliant. It's beautiful design.
Yeah, it's lush. All right, next we'll go for mine quick, and then we'll go for Shane's. Here it is. Man, oh man, this is really cool. This is on the last issue where Superman, or what was it? What was the name of it? Something one.
Project Superman, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like S1, wasn't it? Well, I can't remember what the S meant. But anyway, Superman Subject 1, that's the one. So Subject 1 is, he flew away issues ago, and then all of a sudden, in the very last fight, comes down and just absolutely obliterates. Is it Enchantress?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely annihilates her. But what I love about this page, and I don't think I acknowledged it the last time I read this, but it's just all those funky, wavy little colors that kind of look like, when you put like oil in water and it kind of ripples that away.
100%.
It looks just like that. And man, that's such a good looking page. Really, really like that.
And it does take into account the colors used are like the same off his suit, and the Enchantress's powers have just been swirled out. It just shows the impact he's made coming in, that's the energy that's come off. It is a stunning page.
And just the speed and the force, and it's just, like Subject 1 is here. Boom. Yeah, massive. Okay, Shane's pick. Here we go. It's a Wonder Woman one. Nailed it. He says, I've picked this page because it's stunning. The power and the fury Wonder Woman wields is gorgeously shown in this page. The artist portrays her strength and her beauty so flawlessly. Yeah. Elegant, I think. Like elegant but fierce. I think
it's very rare. Oh yeah, definitely. And it's rare to see her interrogating Steve Trevor like this as well.
I know. Yeah.
It's a stunning page. If I remember, you don't see if she kills him, doesn't he? After this page, she does actually take him out. It's insinuated.
It alludes to that, yeah.
Which is again, that just builds how menacing she actually is in this world. The fact that she will kill the man she loves from the original universe. That sets a precedence from this page on that she's not to be messed with.
Yeah, she is badass, and you only really get this situation in these 5 issues that show how like strong she is, and how much authority she has. But read the rest. Like if like Liam has corrected me in the comments earlier as well. He said it's not that he felt like he was missing stuff. He just wanted more. So that's good. And the Wonder Woman side of things is awesome. How that expands with the whole Aquaman stuff. It's really cool. And the Batman stuff, mate, you'll love it. Liam loves Batman. He'll love that bit. What Shane has said about the rest of the art. He says the art throughout this book is gorgeous. It was pretty much to the standard pre-New 52. It was pretty much the standard pre-New 52 to have books, even non-big events, to look like this. So he says 1989 to 2011 were, in my opinion, an experienced the greatest for quality art. Yeah, totally.
Couldn't agree more. The artistic style definitely changed when the New 52 kicked off. And I think now that I'm going back experience older books pre-New 52, you're starting to realize that, it's definitely changed up, mostly for the worse. sadly.
Yeah,
But
fair
not
enough.
all of them are. Not all of them are. There are some great artwork from some newer runs, but you do find that there's something about this era, you know.
Yeah. Thank you as well, everyone who sent us some pages. We're going to go through some of them now. So we've got one from Steve. He sent this in from the final issue where Thomas Wayne is stabbing Reverse Flash through the back with this massive sword. And he says his reason for this is, even though it's not Bruce, I'm not used to seeing Batman kill. And here he is, zero F's given, stabbing Eobard in the back. So cold. Whilst this is a really cool page to look at, I have problems with it. Just Eobard Thawne just being disposed of so quickly.
Yeah, and with the sword. But then in a way, it just shows how much he took his eye off the ball.
Yeah,
to
he's so
focus
focused.
purely. Yeah, to purely focus on Barry. He did not notice Batman stabbing him in the back with a sword, which was quite poetic, really.
Yeah,
for the character.
Yeah.
And
it's surprised as well, because you kind of expect it's going to be a Flash versus Reverse Flash. You know, it's going to be to the death between those two. But then it's just, nope, you're dead. Like, Batman killed you instead. And, you know, it's not about Flash fighting Reverse Flash. It's about Flash restoring, you know, his old world, essentially.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's Batman's purpose throughout this whole book. As soon as he could realize that he could sacrifice his life to save his sons, that drove him through this entire book. And, you know, even to the point where, I know we say here is he's not scared to kill. That is true, because he quite happily threw Yo-Yo off a building at the start. But to do this point, this has had meaning, this one. This was like, he knew he had to remove him from the equation so Barry can save everybody. So it's quite a good, quite a good pick.
Very, very good motivation. He's like, essentially, we just saved my son. That's all it was, wasn't it? Speaking of Thomas Wayne, we're going to Kev's pick. Boom. Look at this. All Kev has said, this is the thing that makes me laugh about Kev. He's an artist, a fantastically talented artist, but then when he sends in page picks, it's like, yeah, just look good. But he says, here's my page pick. I thought it was a cool picture of Batman. That's what he said. And then he asks the question, did Thomas Wayne turn Gotham into Vegas? Looks like we have the Wayne.
Well, that was his thing, wasn't it? He ran casinos, didn't he? That was how he, in this particular world, that's how he made kept his money.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's what it doesn't allude to it too much here in this book, but I think from the tie-ins you'll find out a bit more. But again, something keeps cropping up. I want the tie-ins.
Yeah. We got a great pun. We've got a pun that you can judge if it's good or not. From Highland G, it says he killed Reverse Flash with the point of his sword. So
very on the nose.
Everyone on the comments, let's go. Is it good or not? Good pun, bad pun. So that was Kev's pick. Final one then. Sorry, I've got to keep jumping across different accounts to get what people have sent me. So we have this one then. This final one from Andy. Send this in. This is the page. This is on about halfway through issue 2. Barry is really struggling with his memory, and things start to split. So he says, I'm always a sucker for a panel page when it's split into good and evil or two different timelines, etc. Thought it was a nice touch to split with the lightning down the middle and the differences in his eyes to highlight the two sides. Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really good. It's the little details as well.
Again, when he blows up these pages above half a page, it's just every single one of them is so nice.
Yeah,
I do love this, how it's emphasized on both sides.
Yeah,
with the war, with Flash, it's great.
There's so much going on. Yeah, really good, and it just kind of gives you a little teaser as well as what's involved in these tie-ins. And I'm like, just want to read the tie-ins. And you should, but the reading order is wonky. I mean that. It's not just read all of the featuring Wonder Woman issues. It's not like do this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. It's like, right, okay, read like first one, read issue 1 with the Reverse Flash. Then it's like read issue 4 of this trade, then issue 2 but there, then 1 and 3, and it's like, man, it's weird, but follow it. It works. Trust me.
I haven't cracked it open, but I think the omnibus is mapped correctly.
Yeah, good. I'm really glad for that, because navigating through these trades, I had a bookmark in each of them to remind me where to go next. Man, it was a mission to make sure I was reading everything in the right way.
But worth it in the end.
100% worth it. Loved it. Really did love this story as a whole with all the tie-ins. And we'll get to scores later.
I've got a bonus page.
You do? All right.
Got one bonus page.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh no, that's I've got two bonus pages then. But this
two.
Is a good one. I've got two then. This page is fantastic because it's saying, like, because obviously I watched the animated movie. You don't see this in the animated movie. They don't touch upon it. And I think this is something that's really unique. The fact that we're seeing the amalgamation of the New 52. You know, you're seeing pre-New 52 at the bottom left. You're seeing Vertigo, and obviously I'm not sure what universe it is with Grifter and stuff in. But they're just, it moves across the page where Barry stops himself on the cosmic treadmill to then form the New 52 on the right, where the artwork style changes. And this is, I'm assuming this is our first look at what these characters are going to look like moving forward, which I just felt like was a monumental moment.
Little tease.
Yeah. It sets the groundwork for where it's going.
It does. And it's so cool. For me, though, as a DC, brand new to kind of DC when I started reading all this kind of meant nothing to me.
Oh, really?
That page. Like, I understood what was going on, but those pictures of the different groups and different costumes, not a clue. Didn't understand the relevance. I don't know what everyone looked like at the time. Now I get it, obviously, but I read this in 2020 when I bought that collection. Didn't have a clue. Meant nothing. So this whole thing was a big learning experience.
But now, looking at that again, does that mean more to you now, seeing that in respects of the bigger picture?
A little bit. Again, still not really read that much DC. It's just I only read it when Phil says I have to read Batman for the Nerd Herd, and that's pretty much it. But that's it. Like I don't really have much DC on my shelves, and if I do, it's pretty much Elseworld stuff. Like I had Deceased. I've got my eye on Dark Knights of Steel. I want to get those hardcovers, things like that. I'm not really bothered about the main lines of stuff for DC, unless it's Flash. I got all of them.
So I've got one more bonus page.
Go on. I don't have it. If that's where you're getting at.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I will jump on it. There we go. Perfect. I had to pull this page mainly because this is such an important part of the story. To see Barry return back after experiencing Flashpoint and have a note from Thomas Wayne to give to Bruce, to see Bruce actually sort of, remove the mask and show his emotional side. I think the only emotional side I've ever seen from Bruce is in Injustice when Nightwing gets killed. So for me, in mainline sort of story, to see this is a bit of an important moment for me. And at the end of this, when he sort of looks at Flash, and it's the page after this, but I thought this one was the more important, to turn around and say to Flash, you're one hell of a messenger.
Yeah.
It just gives importance to Flash. And this is why I feel Flash is probably one of the most powerfulest in the DC universe, because Flash has got the power to completely destroy it and fix it.
Yeah.
No other superhero, including Superman, can do what Barry just did in Flashpoint.
Yeah.
In 5 issues, he ruined it and fixed it and created a new universe.
And there's always like this innocence with him as well. It's not like he knows what he's doing. It's like, oh crap, I messed up. I need to fix this. And then he works as hard as he can to do it, and that's it.
Hmm.
It's just, here's the problem. You know, Barry Allen, I think, from what I've read, is quite. That's what he does. He causes problems, and then he's like, "Oh crap, I got to fix it now." And
Yeah, he
then,
does.
but he's really good at doing it. He's really good at. He was really good at making the problems, and he's really good at fixing the problems. But yeah, I think that's part of the lovable charm from him as well.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. That's why I like him.
Okay, so can we delve a bit more into the writing and the story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this trade, if you just bought this, correct me if it's in the it won't be in the omnibus. Correct me if it's in the absolute, because I have no idea. It would have been really cool to just have a little bit of a catch up, like, you know, where do the tie-ins? What happens in the tie-ins leading up to this book? You know, just give me a rundown, like Donny Cates does it in his issues for Thor and things like that. There's a little recap. That's all that would be good for this, because you'd have a bit more of that context in your mind. I've seen people do it before, and they have like a page or two full of like recapping with little pictures, you know, little tiny panels, little copies of panels from those books. Boom, 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 boom. And just go, so you can go, okay, cool. That's a character I need to know. Like, that's new to me. Like, I know, oh, cool, that happened, great. And that would have done a lot better job at bringing that context to us, and just helping us along and understanding the story a bit more.
Because you
And the
need
relevance of it.
backstory. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't. This is not a pick up and sort of read book. You
No.
need some sort of knowledge prior to it. Same as what you said
Yeah.
about the page before, where we said about it changes the New 52. When you first read this, back in 2020, you say?
Yeah,
Went over your
2020.
head. You had no clue what that page meant. So you need some sort of substance beforehand to actually understand the relevance of this story.
Yeah.
And like, if you hadn't read Flash Rebirth, I think that's important. And
Yeah.
I haven't read the 2010 series Road to Rebirth.
Road to
Is that
Flashpoint.
Road to Flashpoint?
Yeah.
Is that important to this story?
It's pretty
You know?
good. Like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like immensely important, but it's cool to read. It's a fun thing, like 2 or 3 volumes. I can't remember how many it is, but it's a good read. But I wouldn't say it's like insanely crucial, because you learn everything you need to know in Flash Rebirth. I think it's in there that you learn that Reverse Flash killed his mum to, you know, so yeah, for Reverse Flash to exist, Barry needed to have the accident. So Reverse Flash killed his mum, so he'd become, and frame his dad in it, so he'd become a forensic scientist to be around those chemicals, to have the lightning, to then become the Flash, to create the Speed Force, and use enough of the energy to have it carry on into the 25th century, so Eobard Thawne could take it, change it to the negative Speed Force, and be who he is. So, I can't remember where I was going now, but I just went on a big dump then.
But again, I understand why this needs prior stories to get an understanding, because evidently this is the full stop to pre New 52. You know, the end of that era, because as we all know, new number ones from New 52.
Yeah.
Pick up and breed from fresh number ones, and you can carry on. So yeah, you need some knowledge going into this, but I think if you're a Flash fan, you're able to pick this up and read this with no issues. But if you're not that into the Flash, you need some more substance there before to have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah. We keep coming back to this, don't we? You need context is a big thing for this.
Yeah.
I have some opinions on the writings from Phil and Shane. Do you wanna? Should we touch on that?
Yeah, because we might be able to elaborate a bit more.
Okay, cool. So we'll go with Phil's first. He says the story just gets stuck in. I feel like we've missed a huge chunk that has occurred before it. From some tie-ins maybe. Was there a prelude? I'm missing some context about why we are here. Okay,
Hmm.
so yes, correct. You there is context that you're missing, and totally, yeah. If you want it, it's there, essentially. Then he says, like most DC books for me, it brings in loads of characters, or at least different versions that I have genuinely no idea about. He says Shade, The Outsider, Blackout, Element Girl, The Secret Seven, etc. So I don't know much about these either. I don't know if they exist or not, or if they're like slight tweaks or whatever, apart from, Captain Thunder and stuff like that for being Shazam.
I think they're tweaks. They're tweaks to
Yeah.
existing characters.
But what I can tell you, that Blackout, the one with like the black ski mask,
Yep.
that had something to do with the Outsider. Brand new character created by Geoff Johns for this story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he has a bit more involvement in one of the tie-ins, because if that was a new character, he was a bit underused.
So in the back of the trade, when they got like the little character sketches and stuff.
Yep.
They show those off. It says there's a little paragraph down here. Blackout is a Geoff Johns creation. He wishes he could have had more pages for in Flashpoint. This character's full potential will remain to be seen.
Okay. So I'm expecting a new 52 arc with him in some book. But Phil's on the same page as us by the sounds of it. There is something missing. For people that are not heavy DC fans, you need some extra context.
Yeah.
To be able to enjoy this more.
Phil has written so much. Okay. I don't think we have time to like do all of it. But I'll just do a little bit more. He says Shazam clearly has a history with Wonder Woman, but what is it? I feel like I'm getting half a story here. Yes, again, you are. But the little thing that kind of alludes to it in this book is just the panel of of Captain Thunder's close-up face with like the scars all over his face, and he says, Wonder Woman did this to me, or whatever he said. But there's the hint there that there's been a fight between them, and she really hurt him.
And yeah, see, I was okay with that. I was okay with that because I felt that was, even though it was very, very minor, it gave you a reason why he looked so bashed up. This ain't my first run-in with Wonder Woman. Okay, let's put 2 and 2 together. As we always say, up for interpretation. If there wasn't a tie-in, you could easily put 2 and 2 together and go, okay, well, they better scrap before.
Yeah, but maybe it's just not clear to everyone, and that's fine. There's a lot of people, like I've definitely done it before, where I've just whizzed through a book, and then we've had these chats, and they're going, right, didn't pick that up, my bad, and that's that.
I'm guilty for that one too. So
there is one thing. This next thing, Phil is wrong. Okay. He says, he goes, I'm really confused. In issue 1, he could run really fast, but then he couldn't in issue 2. Then in issue 1, he couldn't find his ring. Then in issue 2, it just falls out of his pocket. Issue 1, he can't run really fast. I feel like Phil may be getting confused with the first few panels, that kind of thing. Or maybe when he's running out of the police to go and meet up with someone and bumps into his mum, he's just running at normal speed. The ring thing, yeah, it does just fall out of his pocket, but I'm just assuming it was just in his pocket, wasn't it? Like, you see in issue 1 where he's not holding, he's like, oh, where's my ring? Where's my ring? And then when he's in the back cave, it kind of like bounces out of his coat. I just assumed it was just in his coat pocket somewhere.
Well, also, he makes it very clear that Eobard Thawne put his suit in the ring.
Yeah.
To torment him. So that's obviously true. It was in. You got to remember that when Barry went back and made all these changes to the timeline, he also erased the fact that he was the Flash, and that when he first got his powers, he hadn't been connected to the Speed Force long enough to be at full strength, and he does sort of mention that at certain points. I'm not fast enough. I'm not powerful enough yet to get to the point of running back in time, even to the point where we're in the final issue and Flashpoint Batman, Flashpoint Batman says to him about sort of, running back. He still doubts himself that he's fast enough to be able to fix the problem. Yeah. So
there is more from Phil. There is more from Phil, but we're actually 10 minutes away from needing to end the show. So I'll go on to Shane's stuff. This show has gone in a flash, literally, pun intended, but it's gone so quick. So thanks for everyone as well joining in. So Shane has said an event this big could have easily been confusing or overwhelming, but this did an amazing job of keeping your focus where it needed to be. Yes, there are tons of tie-ins that complement this event, but they aren't necessary to understand what is happening and why. A masterclass in storytelling and world building in just 5 issues. So Shane acknowledges that there are tie-ins, but doesn't feel like you need them. But then everyone else has said that you do. So what are we missing?
I haven't read all the tie-ins, so that's why I make the assumption that maybe some of them could be crucial. But
Yeah.
for me personally, from the ones I have read, I just felt as if it adds to the story because I love this world. So, to get more from it and to get something a bit more fleshed out is a win for me, which is rare. When we said before, like I said at the start, usually tie-ins are a bit of a disappointment. To actually want to read the tie-ins because I want more from this world,
it's rare.
It's a one-off.
Definitely go and do it, guys. If this has piqued your interest at all, please do read the tie-ins. I've read them. You've not.
Partially.
You've read some. Definitely do it. It's worth it. It's a bit of a long read. It's like it's 61 issues all in total. So you've got the 5 issues of Flashpoint. You've got another 56 for tie-ins.
The Omni's like Blackest Night. It's like the big one. It's like
it's
War
huge.
of the Realms type
War
size.
of the Realms. Yeah. Highland G is saying I don't feel like you need them. Most of the tie-ins are things happening in the Flashpoint world rather than focusing on Barry fixing the timeline. So it depends what you want out of it. If you just want, right, I want to see how Flash reacts to all of this and sorts it out, great. This, perfect. That's all you need. But if you are someone who's interested in learning about the Flashpoint universe and wants more out of it and wants to understand what's going on in the background, get into the tie-ins. That's it.
See, for me, like the one little thing that was nodded to in it was when Hal Jordan flew the plane, and they made a point in saying that the missile is called the Green Arrow from Queen Industry or Queen Industry, I think he said it was, or something like that.
Yeah, Queen Industries, yeah.
I know that there is a tie-in for Green Arrow Industries. I want to read that because I want to know what Green Arrow is doing in this universe.
Yeah,
because we didn't see him at all. So it's those things. It's layering the cake, isn't it? Layering it to get more from this world.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk about as well. Just if you enjoy this and you want more, read the tie-ins. If you read the tie-ins and you want more, read the Tales from the Dark Multiverse. They have a Flashpoint thing there. So like a dark multiverse version of what happens there. If you enjoyed that and you want more, there's now Flashpoint Beyond, where it's nothing to do with Flashpoint. This book in particular, the one that they've released so far, follows Thomas Wayne. And it's awesome. It's really good. It's like a murder mystery type thing. Really cool. So yeah, I think it's going to be, and it's written by Geoff Johns, and it's going to be, it's potentially ever expanding, and it's going to be really good. We are now at that point in the show. This has absolutely flown by.
We can go for another hour.
We could. I honestly think we could. But I gotta go to bed, unfortunately. So let's get on to our thoughts and scores then. Everyone in the chat, you know the score. Please give us your scores, and we will add them together, get an average, add them to ours, and we will get the main score. Will it hit the top 10? What do we need now to hit the top 10? 8.1 or
2
higher? Is it 8.1?
8.2?
8.3. 8.3 is our lowest score on the top 10. So we need to beat that. So I've got some scores from other people who couldn't join today. But Martin, do you want to kick us off, and I'll find Shane's and Phil's?
I'll keep it sweet, short and sweet, because you've got to tell their scores as well. So I love this story. I've not shied away from the fact that I'm a big Flash fan. I do acknowledge the fact that there are issues with telling parts of the story from the issue, because you need, it's I understand why people feel the way they do about this book because it does miss certain aspects. I get that. But for me, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me. It hasn't stopped me from thoroughly loving this story. It's not a massive scorer for me, but I am going to give it high. I'm looking at it through rose-tinted glasses. I don't care. I'm giving this an 8.5 because I love the Flash.
8.5.
I love the Flash. So,
okay, nice. All right, so Phil's right. Strap in, everyone. Jesus. Okay, I have to scroll for this message. Okay. Overall, I feel a tad disappointed. I'd say this was Phil's, right? This is Phil.
Yeah, this is Phil.
Overall, I feel a tad disappointed. I didn't know what to expect, but the way people talk about this story, the fact that it has an omnibus, absolute editions, and they made a movie of it, led me to think I would enjoy it. Hot take. For all the flaws the recent film had, I think the movie did this story better. Don't at me. In fact, the animated movie definitely did it best. I feel like if I read the big omnibus with all the tie-ins, I would imagine the war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman would mean more. I think the Resistance could be a cool storyline, maybe more of Lois Lane. I think the story is mixed up. I mean, the overarching story is the Flash stuff and the timeline, but we got more of the problems with the current world and the impending war with a sprinkle of Flash stuff. Scoring this is tough because I didn't hate it, but I certainly didn't love it. It's hard to know if I even had a good time whilst reading it. It's a floppy 6 from me. P.S. Wally West is the best Flash.
He's done that to wind us up.
Fine. It's fine.
You can have your moment, Phil.
So there we go. 6 out of 10 from Phil. Shane's is a lot shorter, which is great. Shane has said, this was the last time I was truly happy reading comics. As much as I love this book, I can't ignore what it brought with it and what it took from me. The art is phenomenal, the writing unmatched, and the overall scale of 5-issue miniseries could cause it impressive. For me, this is a 9 out of 10. So Shane gave it a 9.
Scored it higher than me.
Yes, he did. Wow. I'm also going to keep mine short and sweet. Because I feel like I've talked a lot tonight. You know, like I said earlier, this will always have a bit of a soft spot in my heart. And my first reading of it was with the including all of the tie-ins. So I feel like, as amazing as this story is, I can't give just this book, these 5 issues, the best score. You know what I mean? Because there is stuff missing. It is making you maybe need or want to go to read these other tie-ins. It is very fantastic, and I will always keep some sort of version of this story on my shelf. The art is brilliant. I love what Shane said earlier when it's between the 80s and the 2010s and that kind of art style. Like it is a really good art style and it's fabulous. The colors are amazing. And just, there is little bits of emotional pulls in this with the, Thomas Wayne sending the letter over. Brilliant. And just him only helping because it has this emotional tie to his son. And it's all because of Thomas Wayne and this got pushed forward essentially. But there's so much missing and I want to read it all over again, the whole thing. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to give it a 7.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, right. Nearly there. Right. We've got some scores in the chat. Okay. Pete had a duck out, but he gave it a 5 out of 10. He hasn't said why, but he gave it a 5. Okay. Kev couldn't join tonight, our resident artist. Kev, he sent me a message. He wants to give it a 7.5. Didn't
fair enough.
So now this brings us to you, lovely bunch. Okay, so Highland G has said 7 out of 10 for me. Awesome, thank you. GP Venom, 7.5. Nice, great. Cool. Steve, 7.5 for me. Liam, 8 out of 10. Awesome. Andy, I think a story this big and a relaunch of the universe should have been more than 5 issues. It's not, it's 61. This is just a little bit of it. However, I did enjoy the ride, and Barry is the best Flash Phil. I will say 7.5 for me. Yes, Andy, you can stick around. Do you want to replace Phil? I mean, we can do that. So right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 7 of you. Okay, just rejigging the math. So your average, and of all the scores from the herd tonight, we have a 7.1.
Okay.
Adding that onto Phil's 6, Shane's 9, my 7, and Martin's 8.5. That brings us to a 7.5.
That's okay. I'm happy with that. I think that's fair.
So we will show you the top 10. It doesn't hit the top 10. We say top 10 now because we have so many joint scores. The top 10 leaderboard goes to 5. Okay, so fifth place on the top 10 is Daredevil, Born Again, and MMPR crossed with TMNT. So if we go to the rest of the leaderboard, 7.5 is our only 7.5 that we've had this whole season. So that that slots nicely into 10th place. Technically, top 10.
I think that's fair. You look at the titles it's sitting around like Once in Future, Batman TMNT, Peter David's Supergirl,
Thanos,
Daredevil. Yeah, definitely a worthy position.
I'm happy with that. Honestly, it's good. Just for these 5 issues, if we read the whole lot, number 1, 100%, 10 out of 10s all the way through. But sorry, Phil's now piping up. Can anyone really replace me? There we go. But there we go. So that has been us talking about Flashpoint. I'm glad we made it just me and Martin. Sometimes it's hard when there's less of us to talk about this, but this is such an amazing book, and we're both fans of the Flash. So I don't know if you can tell, I've got tons of Flash stuff right there on the shelves.
You can't see mine, but I've got little bits here, and I've got a whole loads of it over there as well. So
brilliant. So let's tell you what we got coming up on the channel for the rest of the week. Kev, as usual, has done a drawing for us. It's awesome. It's how to draw Cyborg. Cyborg is a pretty big character in this in the Flashpoint story. So he went and drew Cyborg. That looks so cool. That'll be out tomorrow. What is that? Thursday, the 17th of August, 7 p.m. And very recently, what was it? Monday, Shane released the quiz, his latest quiz. So if you are interested in that, see how we went on. It was a good laugh. That one was. We always have good fun. So go ahead and watch that and see how you fare against the rest of us. Did you do better? Did you do worse?
You can't do worse than me.
No. Well, spoiler? No.
Yeah, a little bit.
So with all that out of the way, we should go ahead and show you what we've got coming up next week. It's Shane's pick. What did he choose? Here we go. There we go. So for everyone listening on the podcast, we are going to be talking about Power Girl, Power Trip from 2005. Shane's pick. It's going to be cool. Right. We need to clear something up with you quickly about this pick, okay? If you want to read along, great, okay? Buy the trade if you want. It's called Power Girl, Power Trip.
Power Trip. Yeah.
But only read the first 4 issues, okay? Because this book only contains JLA Classified 1 to 4, and then it goes on to Power Girl 1 to 12. We're not reading all 16 issues. We're reading that JLA Classified 1 to 4.
Power Trip is the latest reprint of this Power Girl series.
Yeah.
But obviously, it starts off with JSA Classified, which is originally, I think if Shane might correct me, but it originally was the first trade. You only got those before you moved on to the series.
Yeah.
But it is great. More Geoff Johns, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, big names. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to read this myself. I've got the trade. Shane's excited for it, even though he's not here. I'm hyping it up for him. This is going to be a good book.
It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be really cool. So everyone, please join us next week. It's going to be a good one. Going to be a good laugh. And hopefully the whole team will be back together talking about this. But that's it. Only do the first 4 issues. Don't do any more. Stop then.
Yeah.
You can do more, but we won't score it. Okay. But yeah, there we go. Thanks everyone for joining. It's been absolutely a blast. And thank you for keeping us company through all this. Last thing to do. Okay, waves up.
See ya.
Bye. Bye, everyone.